why do you believe that they should play a bigger role, men, in society? Why is it that you carry that ideal?
Because men suck at everything that men can do, pretty much.
So,
like, they just do.
My example for that is, at my high school, we had a female valedictorian and a male salutatorian. A female who beat the man. Within that system, somebody was able to be not necessarily better, but surpass a man's abilities.
No, I just find it interesting that women dominate college attendance, women do better in some regards when it comes to standardized testing and sitting and being compliant or whatever, but men still create the world. Men still run all the infrastructure, they build everything. Quite frankly, if we had to rely on female ingenuity, we'd probably still be rubbing sticks together.
Hi, Myron. I'm Lucy. I'm here to have a civil debate with you on your opinion on women.
On women?
Yes.
All right, sure. Oh, so look, all the girls here are backing her now. Who were all you women before?
I am here to support the ladies. There's not many that came up to talk to you.
Yeah.
I'd like to first ask you about, if you don't mind me, interrogating this, what is your relationship with your mother?
Are we going to have a debate on the facts, or are we going to go ahead and get my origin story?
I'm just curious in general, because she did play a big part in the reason why you're here today.
What's your argument that you want to make? Because I don't think that's really pertinent to having a discussion on male-female dynamics. I mean, my position when it comes to, because the other prompt we had was Valentine's Day is for simps.
I mean, great, you talk to them and call them stuff, but when they ask you a personal question, you're scared to answer it?
It's okay.
Why is this woman talking on the side?
Myron, I'm not trying to attack you in any sort of way. And I'm not trying to...
You're 17 and you're already...
Okay, Myron.
Yo, being 17 is crazy.
The debate.
That's wild.
Let's.
What's all you have to say about me? That says a lot about you. Keep talking, dumb.
She's triggered.
I'm just. I'm trying to talk to him.
I'll tell you this, they definitely put the fries in the bag for her.
I'm curious because your mom, you believe that women play a lesser role in society, but if she didn't exist within society and put forth the effort into making you and having you and carrying you for 9 months, you wouldn't be here. So don't you think you should advocate a little bit more on her behalf for the fact that you are able to live and breathe and bleed today?
Okay, so let's go ahead and go through this, because everyone loves to always ask me about my mom. So I'll go ahead and tell you, it was actually my mom that red pilled me on women. She was the one that told me that women are and they got to be, you got to make sure that they stay at home, they, be a good wife, they don't be all this other stuff. So it's always interesting to me how women ask me about my mom when I'm like, yeah, it was actually my mom that awared me on this stuff, on the problems with modern Western women and their ideologies and how they behave.
I understand that she might have a big influence on your beliefs today, but I believe a lot of people's parents influence the things that they believe. But I'm not asking you about what she did or didn't make you believe.
You literally just asked me about her.
I'm asking if you advocate for the fact that she's the reason that you are here and that you can appreciate and see her as a person who carried you and not below you but as an equal, because she did help make you. Don't you think that a little bit of that should be appreciated?
Okay, let me give my position here, because I don't think you know what my position is when it comes to women. I think from a human perspective, obviously, women are just as valuable as men. Actually, you can make the argument that women are more valuable from a human perspective because they carry the next lineage of human being. However, when it comes to other things like leadership within a relationship and or, decision making, being rationally sound, logic, whatever it may be like that, I think men need to be the leaders, and I think men and women have different roles, and I don't think that we are equal from a utility standpoint in society. Now, when it comes to obviously a human perspective, yes, but when it comes to what men do versus what women do, we're very different.
And why do you believe that they should play a bigger role, men, in society? Why is it that you carry that ideal?
Because they suck at everything that men can do, pretty much.
So
they just do.
My example for that is, at my high school, we had a female valedictorian and a male salutatorian. A female who beat the man. In a same system where everything is based off the same points and the same grades, within that system, somebody was able to be not necessarily better, but surpass a man's abilities. How would you explain that within your ideology that men are better in such roles?
Yeah, so we live in a gynocentric social order, right? And the way that we conduct our education system is based on, sitting still, folding your hands, being compliant, listening to instruction, etc. These are things that are just better for women because women tend to be followers. Women tend to be more agreeable. Women tend to be more submissive. So the education system is set up to make you a slave, not necessarily to be critical thinker, entrepreneur, etc. So women do better in situations and environments like this, which is fine. It is what it is. But the education system is absolutely geared towards women. That's why they excel in many different ways. This is why they are starting to dominate, college attendance to get better grades in some regards.
But that mere fact is that they're better to adapt to that environment. Don't you think that makes men not less able to play in that role?
No, I just find it interesting that women dominate college attendance. Women do better in some regards when it comes to standardized testing and sitting and being compliant or whatever, but men still create the world. Men still run all the infrastructure. They build everything. Quite frankly, if we had to rely on female ingenuity, we'd probably still be rubbing sticks together, And I'm tired of sitting here and being like, oh yeah, women are equal to us and they're awesome. It's like, no, men built the world. Women just kind of live in it and enjoy it. And we give you guys HR jobs so you can just hang out and whatever it may be. But the reality is men run the world and create the infrastructure that you enjoy.
But don't you think that, well, not that you think, but I believe that a big reason that you say men run the world is because for a really long time, that's the only people who are allowed to run the world. And the world seems to be still clearly running when now women are able to have a say and impact it.
Yeah, I think we need to remove some of that say. I don't think we should have the right to vote. I think we need to repeal the 19th Amendment. A lot of the destructive progressive policies that we've got in place right now were put in because of the female vote. Put in because women entered the workforce, put in because of feminism. I think feminism is probably one of the biggest issues that we have.
But clearly women are just as similarly educated. They can do the same things, at least within these realms, legal realms. I do recognize that there are differences between men and women physically and sometimes mentally in the parts where we have different brain chemistry, but we have seen time and time again that women can play these roles. The same outcome happens regardless of whether a man or a woman is in the role. I'm sure that there are lots of women who help dictate your everyday life that you are unaware of, and you still seem to be doing just fine.
I'll give an example, right? A woman could do the jobs like a man, but she's not going to be as good in some of those positions as a man. Just because they can do it, right, doesn't mean that it's optimal.
And give me an example of said position and when that happened.
Okay, we can use an example of a female police officer, right? Female police officers, a lot of the times, aren't equipped to handle a lot of the situations that might come up during the course of their duties. If a partner is injured, they might not necessarily be able to drag them to safety. If a male combatant comes in and attacks them, they might not necessarily be able to subdue that individual to the same degree, And I know that sounds or whatever, but these are very real biological realities. In the military, they just are not going to be as strong or be able to or capable of doing certain things. And I don't think that us trying to be, let's be equal and let women in and involve them in certain regards, we're limiting our ability to field the strongest military and or field a strong and competent police force for feelings or for equality. I think we need to be very real in some of the situations, understand that women just are not equipped for certain jobs and or we need to limit it.
Well, I'm going to take your two examples and say that those sorts of jobs require lots of different criteria, such as police officers. Sure, women might not be as physically strong, but that's not the only thing that you need in order to be a police officer. There's a lot of de-escalation within situations. Don't you think that women police officers could help the people, the victims in said situations, through what they are currently having to go through? Also, with the military, there's a lot of people who get injured. And as we know today, that nursing is a field dominated by women. Don't you think that people in the military can also help?
Well, what I was also going to say was they shouldn't be in combat roles. If they're there from logistics or support or something like that, that's one thing. But when it comes to being in the field, this is a big reason why that women couldn't join infantry for so long. So I think to field the best police force and or military, etc., you got to keep out of combat roles or situations where there can be physical contact because it just hurts everybody else. Because I don't think it's fair to send a soldier over or a police officer over with a female partner that isn't going to be as capable of helping him if he gets incapacitated to some degree. Right? Why? So that we can make women feel happy about them being able to be equal. You could be this too. And then it's okay, we're doing this for feelings versus capabilities.
But I also feel
that's the problem. You feel.
You're right.
Instead of I think or I know. And that's the issue with the female mindset is that women base a lot of their decision making based off of how they feel versus what's real. And that's a very real difference between men and women. And I think it's caused us quite a bit of problems.
I think that the roles can be reversed in a lot of ways in said situations where, especially in combat, where people it can go either way, that a man not be able to drag a woman because the man's too small. Do you think that there should be some sort of requirement for weight and size if you're a man and you wanted to join the military? If you fit the criteria of a woman, then you aren't allowed to be in the military?
Well, the likelihood is the guy's going to be able to do it a lot better than the female and be able to drag her to safety better than the other way around. But again, I think if we are going to let women in, it's got to be one standard. We can't water it down and give two different standards. Bare minimum. Even though I don't think they should even be in, I think if they do want to get in, it should be one set standard. And if the women could pass it, then maybe let them in. But I don't think we should be weakening our police and our law enforcement and our military for feels. And that's the issue. That's what we've been doing for a very long time.
I think each of those positions is much more nuanced and requires a lot more different types of criteria that you need to meet with helping other people, not just physically, but emotionally as well. I have to go.
Sure, no problem.
But I had a good time debating you, Myron.
Yeah, sure, no problem. Thank you.